watching a little video that Mary Ann was telling about.
We will show you, because you need to see this.
Yeah, chimpanzee mother being reunited with her baby.
Yeah, happened at a zoo about 4 weeks ago. And the video is wonderful. We will find a way of being able to show it to you, because it's one of those things you've just got to share.
I tell you what, people who mistreat monkeys and chimpanzees, I mean, it's just like, what are you thinking? Because they are basically human, aren't they? They are basically human.
Well, we're basically animals.
Well, yeah, I know, but honestly. And here's a quick one for you on the heating. Shelley, I think this is worth addressing. Shelley says, I cannot understand why you've not got your heating on. This will be to me. The prices have been capped. Well, no, be careful, Shelley, with that.
The rate has been capped.
Yeah, the unit rate has been capped. So you can still pay more than £2,500.
Oh yes.
It just depends on your usage. So it's not that you won't ever pay more than £2,500, because you will.
Yeah.
So just be careful with that, Shelley.
And it can be very frightening.
Yeah, it can be. So that's why my heating isn't on.
Should we have a look at today's front pages? The Times first, and that's got an interview with the General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, who's told the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, to get a grip.
The Mail says hospitals have been told to empty beds before next week's ambulance strikes.
And the Telegraph reports that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be invited to the coronation of King Charles, despite everything that's happened recently.
The Guardian claims traces of a suspected Class A drug were found at a government house after parties attended by political allies of Liz Truss.
And The Sun reports that former pop star Gary Glitter, who was jailed in 2015 for sexually abusing young girls, well, he's going to be released from prison within weeks after serving half his sentence.
Well, let's go through some of those papers then with political strategist John McTernan and anthropologist Mary Ann Hotter. Good morning to you both.
Good.
John, let's start with you in The Sun, should we? People are being told don't retire early.
Yeah, it's a funny story because it goes to a problem, which is that a lot of people have retired early. Over the pandemic, the lockdown, people just decided they didn't want to work anymore. And I'm in my 60s, I can understand that, but I'm still working. And this is a kind of, is there a carrot or a stick here? It's hard to tell. The economy needs you as a nice message. If you stay working, you'll earn more money. That's true. But there's also that thing, and there's a midlife MOT, so you can see what your pension's going to be when you. But it's also got a bit of like lecturing, and I'm not sure that people who are thinking of retiring want to be lectured. They want to be listened to. They want to be cared, and they want to know that their experience will be taken advantage of by the company or by the organisation.
It depends what sort of business you're in, of course, what type of job you've got. But actually, there's, the longer people stay in jobs, the fewer jobs there are for the next generation coming through.
Although that is a fallacy.
Is it?
The lump of labour fallacy. There's not a limited number of jobs in the UK that you have to divide by workers. The more people working, the more people are earning. The more people earning are buying things which, that creates a demand for it, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's services, whether it's furniture in your house. There's not a fixed number of jobs. Otherwise, as our population goes to 67 million, we wouldn't be where we are. We've got a record number of workers in the workforce, over 30 million. It was 24 million when I was working in government for Tony. So we can grow. The question is, what do people need to have to be in work? What kind of thing do they need? Are they regarded as being mature or too old to learn? And
I think,
old to learn.
Yes, I think it's actually the thing that makes a big difference for whether old workers want to stay in the workplace or not.
Being so ageist, Marianne, I wouldn't ever have thought it of you.
Well, is societal ageism.
Yes.
It's that idea that older people aren't valuable. That they're a bit past it, or they're kind of too old to learn, old dogs, not new tricks, all that stuff. Oh, so-and-so in accounts won't be able to get a handle on that new system. It's outrageous. And I think the more we celebrate older people absolutely smashing it and being the bright old things of an organisation, the bright old things rather than just the bright young things.
Yes, there's still this sort of
more empowered everyone is.
There's still a patronising belief generally, isn't there, that older people don't understand sort of the computers and they're not very good on iPhones.
That they wouldn't be champions for diversity and inclusion, or that kind of really throwaway okay boomer.
Yeah, okay.
There are
But
people who
we are, but it's different now. And on the computer side is interesting, actually, because technology is evolving so quickly now that actually, I mean, I'm in my 40s, and even yet, if I don't make a concerted effort to keep across some of the things that are going on, I'd be losing a grip on it all. And I'm sure I'm not actually across it all anymore. So never mind people in their 60s and 70s.
That's updating, isn't it?
It is.
To do that if you're young in the computer industry.
It's good. I work in a team of 70 in the company I'm in, and the people are from their 20s right to people like me in the 60s. And the great thing is, if I don't understand, there's somebody who can explain it to me. And learning is not about learning for yourself always. It's about like asking somebody, learning with them, and then you've got a new skill. So
I still don't know why you'd want to keep working. Really?
because it's actually really stimulating. Same reason coming on the show. It's actually input, stimulus, meeting new people, new experiences.
It's not the same sort of work as some people who are going to look into working.
No, I'm not. I don't work in a factory. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't I'm not on a production line. But most jobs nowadays are human jobs. They're human contact jobs.
I used to work in a factory. I tell you what, the ladies there were desperate to get out.
Yes, I can imagine.
It was
I
grim.
think the other thing is, though, if people are working for wages, effectively, then they're not volunteering, they're not supporting all those third sector local charities, doing reading schemes with the local school, helping out at the coffee morning for people who are lonely in the community. And grandparents are less available for childcare, and so it turns the screw on working age parents who might otherwise have been able to kind of share that childcaring responsibility with other members of the family. They're going, everyone's at work, I'm going to have to find a nursery place for my kid. And nursery places are unaffordable for lots of people.
And that's not necessarily how you want to live either,
No, exactly.
It's the ability to choose how you want to live.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Choice is the most important thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to get much of a choice when it comes to our health, according to the eye, and everyone who works here, because there's a rampant cold virus going about. Everyone's getting it.
Yeah, triple whammy of rising cold viruses, flu and COVID. So at the moment, they reckon about just over 200,000 people have COVID in the UK. Most people aren't testing, so you've got something, you don't feel well, you've got, all the symptoms, but you don't know whether it's COVID or another virus. And at a certain point, it doesn't really matter. You don't sneeze on people. If you're not well, don't go to the office.
Yes.
Don't get on the busy train. Stay at home, look after yourself. Get well and then get on with your life. Easier said than done for some people. I know that's true. But yeah, so
There seems to be a lot of it about though.
There is.
it's
this super
hacking
cold.
cough and
there's the super cold, and also we've had 2 years of reduced immunity because we haven't been mixing. So I've got primary school age children. And oh my goodness,
carriers.
the burden of germs that comes through our house every day or every week, they're really getting knocked by it, and that knocks on to increased hospital admissions, calls to 111, which have been up 60% in 1 week, which is extraordinary. People seeking advice.
Yeah.
So one of the pieces of advice is not only kind of do all the self-care stuff, have paracetamol at home, warm drinks, heat your home to a point where it's not going to be making you more ill. But also, if you need support, go to your local pharmacist, go to the chemist, because they're really well trained. They're totally there to help us. But everybody sort of forgets, I think. And you go, I can't get a GP appointment. You don't necessarily need to see a GP, but going to see a pharmacist and then being able to advise,
NHS,
they can help.
No, very true. Hang on in there. It's rotten. I was rotten last week.
Hang on in there. Lots of fluids.
Yes, there's a really good piece by Michael Mosley, the doctor, in today's Mail, talking about tips on how to try and stay healthy as much as you can. And he says, if you're cold at home and if your nose is cold, don't let your nose get cold. Because apparently the various microbes and things inside your nose that actually protect you against germs, they need to stay warm.
Oh, do they?
They don't operate very well in the cold. So he said, even if at home, if you feel a bit cold or the tip of your nose is cold, wear a scarf and put it over your nose a bit so you're breathing in warm air.
Oh.
And he said that's a very handy tip, and apparently it's very good for keeping your nose healthy. Important.
What's he going to do?
You need a nose sock.
A little nose.
A nose sock, yeah, be a very good idea.
A balaclava.
It could be the perfect
Balaclava,
Christmas
wear a
present.
balaclava at home.
Yeah.
Or just one of those COVID masks.
Yeah.
You're going to make yourself very unpopular here, John.
But you certainly notice that at the minute. If you don't turn the heating on, one of the first things I noticed is the tip of your nose gets
It's
really
true.
cold.
Yeah.
True.
If you are able,
Yeah.
be moved,
be
because
around,
then you're
move around,
generating
move,
heat
yes.
from the inside rather than just
Yeah.
being static and wrapping up on the outside, because you can't. It keeps heat in, but
Yes.
it doesn't generate heat. So do some.
Yes, it's good for you for generating heat.
Yeah, have a dance.
Yes.
Oh, come off.
Round the kitchen.
No, in the kitchen. Put the kettle on. Don't you do this?
Duvet and a cup of soup.
A dance and a duvet.
That's how to
Dance.
do it.
Dance and a
Dance and a
duvet and a cup of soup. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
Oh,
Not
dear.
a contradiction.
While you're boiling your kettle for your cup of soup,
That's
Duvet,
right.
dance,
have a little
drink.
boogie, and then you'll be toasty warm, Stephen.
There you go. Right. Thank
Dancing.
you. These feet weren't made for dancing. We're out of time, thank heavens.
No, because I was looking forward to talking about Brussels sprouts. But
No,
we'll
we'll do that
next
next
time.
hour.
Yeah, okay,
Do
we'll
that
start
next
with that.
hour. Catch up with you two a little bit later on.